What up? It's your boy Voodoo God. It's time to roll up. Listen, yesterday I went to the laundromat because I needed to wash my comforter. It was too big for my washer and dryer. So I went there and I washed my comforter. And so meanwhile, I'm waiting on my comforter to dry. Once it washes, I take it out and I'm going to the dryer. And there's this lady sitting in front of the dryer, the Spanish lady, older Spanish lady. And she's sitting in front of the dryer and I'm like, excuse me, I'm trying to dry my clothes. And she's like, she's holding the dryer. Meanwhile, she got like 8 minutes left on her wash. So I'm like, lady, excuse me, you can't do this, blah, blah, blah. So we get in a little interaction. And then she's like, okay, let me take my fabric sheets out of the dryer. So she takes it out, and in the process, she's like, you're being an asshole, you nigger. And she calls me a nigger. So I'm like, yo, I'm off guard first. But then I'm like, yo, I called her a nigger back, but I'm like, you a nigger too. Like, you black just like me. Spanish people are black. I didn't understand the process of her calling me that. But in the midst of everything, I got into a little spat with her, but I went outside and I cooled down. I went outside and I grabbed my blunt and I sparked up. So meanwhile, while I'm outside smoking, this female come up to me. She's smelling my shit. She like, damn, you got some more of that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, nah, I don't sell it in any way. You know what I'm saying? Yada, yada, yada. So in the process, I started talking to her about, she see a sign that, you know, I practice voodoo when I work with the ancestors. So she asked me, what's voodoo? I started explaining things to her. And then she was telling me one of her friends she thinks got a curse on her. Because she was like, her friend used to be like, you know, thick or whatever. And now she's all of a sudden, she's getting too big and her feet are getting swelling up and her health is decreasing. She's going deaf in one ear. So I'm asking the girl, I'm like, okay, so what is your friend exactly doing for her diet? Because I'm thinking like maybe the girl could have cursed her, but at the same time, we can also curse ourselves by the food that we eat and how we treat our body. So she was telling me that her friend eat bad food and also that her friends had her OnlyFans and she was making fast money and doing all of this. Listen, so I explained to her, I was like, I don't think it's a curse. I think your friend is blocking her own tunnel, her own way to get out. It's because she's not eating correctly. She's eating a bunch of fast food and not taking care of her body. No exercise, no daily affirmations, no manifestation, no nothing. And then on top of that, you making the money off of fans only. Money is the root of all evil. So the faster that it comes, the more evil that's around you. And then you're talking about using sex. You know, when men are entering women portals, it's a lot of energy that's being put and taken out of there. So a lot of negative and evil energy could be placed around her just through the money and the sex that she's having. So that's what I told her. I told her, basically, tell your friend to go into the mirror and tell the hex or the demons or whatever that's bothering her to get the fuck out of my life and leave me alone. And also I told her to tell a friend that she has to change her diet. She has to somehow become vegan, cut out the fast food, and she has to get some exercise into her life. So meanwhile, while I was supposedly arguing with this lady on the inside, on the outside, I'm sitting out having a conversation with this girl. And I actually explained to the girl what happened in the laundromat. And she was like, wow, you're actually pretty chill because, you know, you got into an argument and now you are out here talking to me and trying to, you know, coach me up. And she really felt the vibe of everything. And it was also a dude out there, another dude that was inside the laundromat when me and this lady got into it. And he had just got out of prison. He was like, yo, you better than me, blah, 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 you know, saying, because he was disrespectful to me. But he was like, he wouldn't have did anything anyway to go back to prison. He know why I did what I did. You know what I'm saying? And in the end, I even went back in and apologized to the lady. Because, you know, even though that she was in her lower frequency, I can't let her bring me to my lower frequency. So I went and apologized. We calmed everything down. It was kosher. But I also, it was great because I was basically going to leave my stuff and go back home. But the only reason why I stayed, because I thought that lady was going to mess with my stuff in the dryer. So I ended up staying out there and I ended up talking to that girl who needed help with her friend. And I ended up talking to a guy that just got out of prison for 15 years and now he's trying to better his life and everything. So everything happens for a reason, and it's always a learning process. Always. So I just wanted to share that story with y'all because it was kind of crazy how the lady called me a nigger, and it's like, I don't understand. Spanish people, we need to stop doing this. Older Spanish people especially. Calling black people niggas. Like, we all the same. I told you they coined that phrase back when. Latin Americans and African Americans, we are all the same. They did this to separate us. Because together we can destroy them. But separated we cannot. So please, Spanish people, stop calling black people niggas. Because you black too. And Spanish people didn't even use the nigga word. Where I'm from, in the hood, Chicos use nigga. And we don't have a problem with it, but that's because they one of us. So Spanish people, stop that, man. That shit was it was a crazy story, but it was needed because, you know, I got to bless that girl. And I talked to that guy. The girl was actually like, you should be a reverend, you know, yada, yada, yada. I told her about my my YouTube channel. So she followed my page. Shout out to her if she's watching. So I just wanted to share that story with y'all. 369 out.